Hey everybody, how you doing? We're going to call this episode 3 for our Zenith 8S563X that we're restoring for Lisa. And I want to give you an update where we are. So first thing we're going to do is focus in on our electrolytic capacitors. They've all been replaced. You can see them right there on the back wall. 1, 2, 3. So the internal capacitor, which is right down there, has been bypassed. It's completely out of circuit. However, we're going to leave it there because it's, aesthetically it looks okay from the outside. So we have everything connected correctly. We're good. We're good to go. We have most of our wax caps replaced. I still have a few I haven't done yet, and there's a reason why. But where we are now is our tone control. So I took the tone control out of the radio. It's right here. And this is the shape the wires are in. And, there's some electrical tape here. I'm not sure where that came from, but that's okay. So before I turn this thing on and do my first power up, I have to fix this because this is all shorted wires, okay? And all the wires have been sufficiently cut underneath, right here. You can see them. And they've all been color coded. And I've created a map. So I have a map. And I've also have a new bundle of wire ready to go. Alright, so this is going to replace all those wires. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace all the wiring for that tone control underneath the chassis. We're going to go down through this little hole here. We're going to home run it down. It comes out the bottom like this. And of course we're going to attach it to this control plate. But first I need to take this control plate apart. Now there's one screw right here that when you remove it, this entire phenolic piece slides forward this way and allows you to remove it. And the reason why I'm going to remove it is look at those connectors. They're all full of carbon, dirty. They probably don't work well. So while I'm going to be in here messing around anyway, might as well take it apart and clean it. I'm not going to take these slide knobs out, and this is how they work. They pull up and down, and you can see here the way they make contact. And you see that little rivet right there? It's all dirty. That makes contact. That breaks contact. So we're going to clean all that up before we put this thing back together. So the first order of business is take this apart, clean the contacts, remove all this old wires and junk, and then start attaching things on this end. And then when we get it all done, we're going to fish it up through the chassis up into here. And then we're going to start to remove the wires that we need to remove. Now the reason why I have some of those waxy caps left in there, and I'll zoom in for you, I think right there. If you look there, there's 1, 2 caps there. This bundle of wires that I'm going to be replacing all go to those caps. So I decided to leave that alone until I was ready to get to this part of replacing all the wiring on this tone control. So that's why I've waited on those. And then I have 2 other ones, which are, let's see if we can find those, right there. Okay? So, yeah, I purposely leaving them because I don't want to disturb that stuff yet. But main thing for me is get the tone control up, get it working, turn it on, let's see how it sounds. Alright, so that's going to be our first power on test. So I'll turn this off now, I'll go work on that tone control, and I'll bring you back when that's complete. Alright guys, our tone control is completely cleaned and rewired. And I have to share a little secret with you. This thing was pretty mangy, and there was a lot of dirt and dust in here, obviously, after almost 80 years. So what I did was, I used some of this stuff, I tested it, Mean Green Super Strength Cleaner and Degreaser. And I'm telling you, I put that stuff on here, it's not caustic, it doesn't remove any of the paint or anything. Look at this thing, it's brand new. I got all the contacts nice and clean underneath. You can see some of that in there. And everything is really, really good. So this tone control now is great for another 80 years. It's all been rewired, and I've ohmed out all the connections. And what do I mean by ohmed out the connections? And this is mostly for Lisa. So if you look right here, for example, this low base switch is between these 2 connectors. And if I follow the wires, it's yellow and black. So if I put a meter on yellow and black and I open and close the switch, it's either going to make connection or not make connection. So I did that for each one of these. So looking at the center one, it's red and blue. And similarly, for the end one here, it's black and orange. So I did that for every one of these connections. They all work really well. They're all perfect. All the connections are clean. So these things are going to work really, really good. Okay? So this is now ready to go back into the radio, and of course I've got to make all the connections on the other side. So that's going to be our next step here. I've also taken this jar that I had, and I've put all the old pieces in it that I'm taking out, and I'm going to send this back with the radio to Lisa, because I know Lisa has that recording studio this is going to go in. This will probably be a cool little thing to display in there. So this is going to go with it as well. So that's coming your way, Lisa. All right, so our next step here is to get this thing wired into the radio chassis, and then we're going to do our power-up test. I think I'm going to end this episode here. I apologize for this series has taken so long. I've just got a couple of things going on at the same time, and wish I had more time to dedicate to this and do it faster, but I don't. So what I'll do is I'll work on this off camera, get this all connected, and I promise you in the next episode when we come back, this radio is going to be playing. The main reason why I wanted to make sure this was done before I did that, because if I had a short here, let's assume I didn't do this and I just plugged it in and said, let's try it, and this thing was shorted and it didn't sound right, how would I know what the problem is? So typically when you want to restore one of these things and get it working, you want to eliminate as many of the problems as you know about as much as as early as you can, so that when you do your actual testing, you're pretty much assured that it's going to work. So we know that this is going to work for sure. I have to check the other control on this thing. There's two controls on the cabinet. There's another one that's a preset, I think. So I need to check the wiring on that. I haven't done that yet. I'm going to close this video with a little video that Lisa put together. So Lisa is also trying to document this video process of restoring this radio for her family. So I'm going to put that on the end of this one, and you'll be able to see that too. So until then, we'll see you in the next episode when we have this radio playing. Take care, everybody.